Hi everybody and welcome to this week's webinar. I'm joined by Shane Riddle, our Head of IT, and Brendan Smith, our Camping General Manager. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the various lands we are all meeting on today, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. This week is a very significant one for Victorians, with Daniel Andrews progressively announcing earlier in the week that we are finally ready to reopen the doors of more businesses and relax some restrictions. It's so exciting and indeed, I've got to say, quite emotional, particularly for Melburnians who have spent 111 days in strict lockdown, not like we were counting or anything. So I'd like to take a moment to celebrate this incredible achievement by the Victorian community. Through our collective efforts and our huge sacrifices, we have managed to reduce case numbers down to a rolling 14-day average of 2.4 in Metro Melbourne and technically zero in regional Victoria. As we move back into socialising and going back to work, it might feel a bit weird. And some things will be really easy and exciting, perhaps like going out for a meal, having a haircut, maybe playing a game of tennis or golf. And some might feel a little stranger. For my daughter Rosie, going back to her new high school, it was essentially the third time she had started year 7. She experienced all the same emotions as that very first day of year 7 for a third time. And I just had to be there for Rosie to listen to her concerns and reassure her, to give herself a break and not expect everything to click into place at once. And actually, after 3 weeks, she's now starting to feel comfortable. I mean, your experience might feel similar to Rosie's, and it might take some time to adjust. So please be kind to yourself and to others and make sure you reach out if you need support. I'll now provide an outline of the latest government announcements and how they will affect you and the Y. So first up, as you'll all be aware, yesterday Melbourne moved into the third step of the roadmap to reopening. The following changes are now in effect in Metro Melbourne area. The 25 radius limit does remain in place. The ring of steel border of regional Victoria does remain in place. Our outdoor gatherings are still limited to 10 people, but can now be from more than 2 households. 2 adults can visit another home with dependents that can't be left unsupervised, and this can only happen once a day, both for the hosts and the visitors. Cafes, restaurants, pubs can reopen with capacity limits. Remaining retail, beauty and personal care services can reopen. Outdoor contact sport for under 18s can resume and non-contact sport for adults. PT, fitness and dance classes can be held outdoors for up to 10 people. Outdoor pools can increase to 50 or have increased to 50 people at a time, subject to density limits of 1 person per 4 square metres. Then, even more excitingly, at 11:59 p.m, Sunday the 9th of November, the 25-kilometre radius limit will be lifted and Metro Melbourne will be again at one with regional Victoria. Gyms and fitness studios can reopen with strict density limits of 1 person per 8 square metres. Indoor pools may open for 20 people maximum or 1 person per 4 square metres, whichever's fewer. Hospitality capacities will increase and accommodation will reopen as the ring of steel is removed. For regional Victoria also, you received some good news over the weekend with the following changes announced for recreation centres. Gyms and fitness studios may reopen with 1 person per 8 square metres or 20 people maximum, and indoor group fitness can resume with groups of 10 people in line with density limits. The next 2 slides demonstrate the level of restrictions for each sector of the Y using the traffic light system for Metro and regional. In Metro Melbourne, as you can see, both recreation and Kingswim move into the heavily restricted, while camping and youth are closed, although I will ask Brendan about that and what we're doing there. Children's programs and disability services are already open. In regional Victoria, recreation is now in the restricted category, while camping and youth are heavily restricted again, and children's programs sector is of course open. On this slide, you can see the current confirmed dates for outdoor and indoor pools, group fitness, swimming lessons, and outdoor personal training for regional Victoria and Melbourne Metro. Some of these dates, as you can see, have already passed and we're open, and some are coming up. Now, for recreation, we are working with our council partners to determine dates for reopening more of our services in line with restrictions. These dates will likely be different between local government areas. As we receive further dates from our council partners, we will continue to update the emergency.ymca.org.au website. Well, I've said here each week, but it's going to be each day. So please continue checking there because things do update on a daily basis. Now, this slide shows some of the positive customer experience and feedback that we've received since more of our recreation sites have reopened. On top of this, one very happy customer wrote an article about swimming laps at Carlton Baths for the first time during lockdown. The writer was published in the New York Times and said, "This week, my local pool opened. The weather was miserable with temperatures below 60 degrees Fahrenheit. This is America. But every time slot was still booked full with days in advance. Even in its second week of operation, the only available time was 6 a.m., which is how I ended up sniffling or stifling my yawn as I filed into the centre with the sky still dark." And here's the picture, which is just amazing. So exciting for Carlton Baths to have a special mention in the New York Times. And it goes to show the global attention Victoria and indeed the Melbourne COVID plan has received for our impressive lockdown achievements. For a King Swim update, I'm pleased to say, I'm absolutely delighted to say that all 13 Victorian King Swim centres will reopen on Monday, the 9th of November for swimming lessons. King Swim have built their swimming lesson program to cater for the 20 people capacity and have had a really strong response from customers expressing their interest to return. Over 600 new families are looking to enrol with King Swim for the first time, which is just amazing. A quick reminder to all people who are returning to work, you will receive a minimum of 3 days' notice in writing. For everyone who's returning to work, I'd like to remind you of our responsibility to ensure that we do follow all the COVID safe rules, and you are wearing your mask, for example. Also, if you haven't completed our COVID safety training, unfortunately, we will not be able to schedule you. And if you aren't available for work for the Y, it does put your JobKeeper, if you're receiving it, at jeopardy. All training links will be provided again in my follow-up email, so please attend to it as soon as possible. For children's programs update, we are continuing to see occupancy levels increase and have confidence as more businesses open up that more children will return to our care as their parents head back to work. At the moment, occupancy levels are approximately 67% across early learning centres and 28 bookings per OSH. A break-even point would be around 70% for early learning centres and above 30 bookings for OSH. So we're still relying really heavily on the recovery funds from the government. As you can see, we're really close to being able to stand on our own 2 feet. And hot off the press, we were successful in the EOI process with Trafalgar Primary School for their OSH service and their holiday program for a 3-year agreement. Congratulations to the team who worked on that. We were up against 4 other OSH providers, which is brilliant. The school was really impressed with the plans and ideas in our expression of interest and are excited about the potential that our extended partnership will bring to the school community. Trafalgar Primary School has 500 students, so we're thrilled to be chosen provider for these students for the OSH service. And the contract begins in January 2021. Congratulations to all involved in securing this new business. Now for the Staff and Volunteer Awards. Finally, nominations for the Staff and Volunteer Awards closed early this month, and we were pleased to see so many nominations submitted. I'd like to thank everyone who took the time to recognise the hard work of their colleagues by submitting a nomination. These nominations have now been shortlisted, and today I'm pleased to be announcing this year's finalists, not the winners, just the finalists, in what has been a really challenging year. The contributions that these finalists have made to the Y and King Swim have been exceptional. And the finalists are Staff Member of the Year, Todd Nichols, Samantha Tandrum, Stacey Manser, Alex Hamilton, and Nicole Camelli. And Volunteer of the Year, Chris Hunter, Georgia McKenzie, Lincoln Ingraville, Ashley Baraclow, Sean McLaughlin, and Kurjan Angel. 2020 Hero Award, Samuel Foster, Jeanette Horsley, Hannah Batista, James Weston, and the Brunswick Baths team. Safeguarding Award, the Youth Parliament Volunteering Task Force, Michael Delaney Della, Jessica Gaunt, Rosina Savino, Michael Della again, and Jessica Dyer. And Power of Inspired Young People Award, Kurjan Angel, Nicholas Bridgman, Jake Alway, and Sarah Lee Rucker. And the I.C. Howard Y International Scholarship, which is a $5,000 scholarship, I believe. Emily Greco and Leon Tan. A $5,000 scholarship only if you win it nationally. So the winner of our sections will all go on to national award winners and the potential to win national award winner. Program Excellence, Virtual Y, Skate Park Activation Program, Yes Youth Hub, Bass Coast, Latrobe Youth Space, Acuna Park Ben's Shared Fitness and Flexibility Program, and the YMCA Victoria Youth Parliament. Congratulations to all our finalists, and thank you for all your hard work this year. The winners of each award, as I said, will be announced in the upcoming Thank You Staff and Volunteer 2020 virtual celebration. This year, we align our awards with the Y Australia National Awards, which means that the winners from all categories will also be nominated for the national awards. As we mentioned last week, Thank You Staff and Volunteer 2020 will be held on Friday, the 20th of November at 4:30 p.m. So we hope you'll all be there. The virtual celebration will be an opportunity for us to say thank you for your support, sacrifices, and contributions you've made for the Y and King Swim this year. You'll receive an email tomorrow with an invitation to the Thank You Staff and Awards 2020 and the link to register and the full list of finalists. If you're interested in emceeing the event, we are looking for expressions of interest, and you will be supported through the process. So if you're interested, please reach out to Melissa Watson by the end of day tomorrow. I'll provide her email address in my follow-up email. I'll now hand over to Brendan.
Hi everyone, and thanks Carolyn, and thanks for the opportunity to provide an update on the camping unit. I don't know if people recognise this camp behind, but that's Lake Dewar, and we call it one of the YMCA jewels in the crown of our facilities that's owned by the YMCA. I want to start by just putting it out there to say that what a year 2020 has been for all of us, and what an emotional rollercoaster it has been both professionally and personally. If we cast our minds back, the year started with the catastrophic fires nationally from November 2019 to January 2020, and at the camps, like other YMCA facilities, we had closures due to a direct fire threat or smoke haze that had health-related concerns. This is just a distant memory, as COVID-19 now has dominated our thoughts and impacted our lives as we knew it. On the 16th of March, the day before the YMCA office closure was announced, we submitted the tender for the 5 SRV sites on a long-term lease for 20 years and 9 months. These sites are the Anglesey Rec Camp, the Manyang Rec Camp at Mount Eliza, Howman's Gap at Falls Creek, Lady Northcote Camp at Bacchus Marsh, and the Mount Evelyn Recreation Camp. The tender has been our focus within camps for the past 2 years to ensure we're in the best position to be the preferred provider through the application process. We were quietly confident about our application as we've been operating the camps for the past 15 years and have delivered, in most cases, exceeded KPIs and the key government requirements under our previous lease. But we knew that it would be a competitive environment and there would be a strong competition for these camps. As a bit of background, our camps deliver programs and services to over 82,000 Victorians per year. 70%, roughly 70% of people who attend our camps are from schools like primary school age through to year 12. There's about 30% of our camps are made up of community groups that include sporting groups, seniors, disability groups and Indigenous groups and a whole lot more. offering a range of activities and programs, including things like bush kinder, nature play activities, high adventure activities and outdoor education. But all of it's with a focus to learn more about ourselves, our communities and our environments. So securing the long-term leases for these 5 camps was crucial for our ongoing delivery of camps, which the YMCA globally have been doing in many cases for over 100 years. It is an important place for the Y to deliver on our vision and mission, and it is the playground for us to deliver on government social policy around things like physical literacy, resilience, leadership, inclusive connection and life skills. On the 26th of March, 7 days after our tender submission, we closed all of our camps for the first time in our camping history. These sites have remained closed until just recently with changes to regional activity, like many of our other YMCA regional facilities. During April, we were informed that we were the preferred contract provider going forward for the long-term lease. This news gave us great relief and comfort, especially during the COVID times, and that we would remain strong government connection with Sport and Recreation Victoria, continue the YMCA camps and legacy, and provide our staff and customers with the confidence in our ongoing commitment in camping. The hardest part was keeping it a secret, as it did take a few months to be confirmed until we could announce it in July. We are excited about taking these mature operations into the new and exciting programming and community impact areas, and expanding our camps numbers and programs into the future. COVID-19 has provided many downsides, and it is having a huge impact on many people, business and communities across the state. Yet we do recognise that some small positives have come from it, in the form of circuit breaker to rethink the norm and provide the time to consider different ways of delivering camping into community. We can get caught up in the busy day-to-day operations of delivering camps, and generally we swing to being busy because it's easier than doing the critical thinking about diversifying and program development. This closure period has enabled the camping team to rethink how we do community camps. And as we come to terms with the new environment, we are exploring what could be the new normal. It has enabled us to get creative and look at day camp opportunities more seriously. And this is twofold. Firstly, we may see the financial impact on some communities not having the funds to attend multi-day camps. And secondly, to provide opportunities for more communities to experience and connect to camp. We've already had some great success in trialling this at Howman's Gap and Anglesea over the school holidays with smaller groups under the COVID safe guidelines, proving just how keen people are to get out and have new experiences, especially after lockdown. In some ways, the timing has been a little silver lining, just a little silver lining, for camps that has coincided with the start of the new lease and given us a chance to pause and restart with this in mind, rather than rolling on as if we'd been operating. Virtual Y has opened up opportunities for camps to explore new program ideas and the delivery of programs on screen into classrooms or homes. We've explored programs we can deliver at schools and break away from the traditional camping model where groups come to us. It has switched on the creative brains to explore new opportunities. There are many great activities and initiatives across the Virtual Y platform, and the camps, one highlight has been the Resilient Women's Program under the leadership of Casey Hawkins, which is arousing the interest in the hallways of government and quickly gaining traction in high schools. The Nature for Wellness program, headed up by Jack Dunstan, will do the same, along with many other great initiatives that are coming out of DHHS funding activity. With the light that's coming from the end of the tunnel, we are preparing for all camps to be reopened. The regional sites have been opening as restrictions have eased in these areas and are currently operating core to the COVID guidelines, providing some camp experiences to regional communities. It's been great to get some staff back on site and people coming back through our gates. The good news is that many of our camps are booked solidly until the end of the year. Some of these are with altered programs and group sizing, yet the enthusiasm is even more evident. Metro sites are still currently closed, but we are hoping, like everyone, that things will change here soon and the teams are gearing up for this to happen. The camping unit, like all areas of the Y, see ourselves as an important part of the recovery for communities across the state. Most people have been starved of personal interactions, feeling connected to a community and feeling the benefits of being active in the outdoors past their 5 kilometres. We are confident that the camps will rebound strongly, with many of our Metro customer groups holding on to their bookings up until the last minute to see if restrictions will ease so they can attend. If we need to cancel, our quick to rebook the date to ensure the groups can get back together. They're telling us that camp is important for their groups to connect and rebuild their support networks and a sense of belonging. As with most parts of the Y, we've struggled with closures, and there will be a time when we can celebrate securing the long-term leases for the camps. But for now, we're just focused on reopening and reconnecting our people and our communities. I would like to take the opportunity to give a shout out to the amazing camps crew. Their dedication, resilience and tenacity at this time has been admirable. They have been working to keep the campsites safe, maintained and getting them ready to welcome back campers when possible. They've all been challenged. They have maintained strong personalised relationships with our customers through this time and contributed to adapting our camps offering now and into the future. They've also been successful in securing significant government grants that will greatly impact the business and bottom line during this time. So thanks for the opportunity to speak, and I'll now hand over to Shane.
Thanks, Brendan, and hi everyone. I have a few items to update you on today. Firstly, this week we launched our new cybersecurity awareness program, and I would like to introduce you to our guides, Human Error and Sound Judgment. It will take you through some entertaining and insightful material. Cybersecurity is a fairly dry topic at the best of times, so our guides will put a little bit of humour into it while delivering some very important messages. A new topic will be sent to you at the start of each month, and this training is mandatory. The whole process will only take a few minutes to watch a small video and then to answer a couple of questions. So please take the time to complete it when you receive it each month. And if you don't, the system will continue to follow you up with reminders until you've done the training. Next, I'd like to take a moment to talk about some innovative work that's been undertaken by Mirza Farhan in the IT team. This is in the form of some mobile apps, and I'd like to outline one of those here today. Recognising the need to do our part in ensuring we can assist with the COVID tracing presented a new problem as we started gearing up to open our stadiums and other activities in our centres that draw in more than just the participant. The problem formed around the need to allow participants' family, support networks and spectators to attend our stadiums, but also for us to be able to collect their contact details in case we needed to do a COVID trace. This needed to be in an easy and efficient manner, which didn't create a bottleneck at the entry of the stadium or the event. To address this problem, we've created an app that allows spectators to populate the contact details in the app prior to the event. This then stores their details in a QR code, and as they walk into the stadium or event, they scan the QR code and we collect their details on a register. This is stored and then can be used to reference at a later date. The app can accommodate both single and multi-visit events. We've been testing this in the South Australian Aquatic and Leisure Centre swim school, while the Victorian centres have been in lockdown with some great success. We've got over 4,500 people using this app every day over the last couple of months. We are now working very closely with our Victorian centres and King's Swim to extend this out in readiness of opening up our services as the restrictions are now starting to be eased. We are anticipating another 9,000 to 10,000 people listed by the end of this week, as we've already started emailing the customers in preparation. We can see some great possibilities for this app in the future iterations as we extend its functionality out to allow us to see and manage capacity of a given site, as well as introducing some visual capacity alerts and notifications. Moving to the next item, as you may recall in a previous webinar, we mentioned that in order to reopen our rec facilities, we knew that we needed to implement an online booking system, which was something that I had never done before. We decided to utilise an booking engine to facilitate this for our centres that were reopening. Customers were able to book via the centre's website, simply following some prompts to select their activity, the date that they would like to attend, as well as the time, and then make payment. The booking system allowed us to control the head count at our sites, while also ensuring that everybody has the same access to the facility in a fair and equitable way. And it's also a COVID-safe way to take payment. To date, We've had over 200,000 bookings made online, which is a huge effort. And I'm so pleased that these incredible results, which have had a huge impact on the organisation and our customers. We've been able to create some great dashboards off the back of this data and reporting on various aspects to understand our customers, the behaviour, and hone in on where peak times are, allowing us to ensure that we're staffing correctly and offering the services that the customers are really wanting. However, it hasn't all been smooth sailing. With the last lockdown and the gradual reopen, we've seen an incredible surge in bookings for our outdoor pools. With the large restrictions on our industry, these pools started to attract people who would not normally consider swimming as part of their normal exercise routine. We were releasing 2,000 to 3,000 swimming spots each day, and we saw these being booked out in a matter of minutes. While this was a good problem to have, we were seeing the impact of this surge on the bookie. The bookie wasn't able to handle this intense load. And in a few days after the opening of the outdoor pools, we could see it was killing the system and bringing it to a crawl. This wasn't the only problem that we had. The way that the bookie was designed, it also allowed more bookings to be created than we had spaces available, with so many people completing the booking simultaneously. This overrun created a real problem for our teams in the centres and for YMS team. Not only do they need to contend with upset customers missing out on swimming positions because we sold out so fast, they also had to make contact to people who thought they had booked but exceeded the booking limit and needed to explain to them that they didn't have a swim spot and needed to move them to another day. And you can well imagine this didn't really go down too well with some of our customers. So I'm really pleased to say that we've worked with Nabuki around these issues and put in system updates this week to address the issues. This has set us up correctly to continue to handle the customer demand as we continue to reopen our services. I also want to do a shout out to all the rec staff and the YMS team that took the full brunt of the upset customers. Well done. You've managed a very hard situation and continue to maintain your fantastic customer focus. And it's a great reflection on the values we all aspire to. Next, I want to talk a little bit around the IT team. And over the last few years, we can all agree that some of our technology processes have been letting us down. We've had many processes that are manual or systems that are well behind the current standards. This underinvestment in technology has started to really impact on how we do our everyday tasks. It's allowed errors to creep in, which then in turn causes rework and takes focus off delivering some great customers, being effective in the community, and in some cases, not allowing us to win new business. I'm very pleased to advise that we have started to address this problem. One of the first actions that we've taken was to start restructuring the IT team in readiness for the work to come. I would like to recognise and congratulate Yoni Amir, who has now been promoted to IT manager, as well as Inda and Nero have been promoted to team leaders of the infrastructure and support teams respectively. They've really deserved that as they've really put in the hard yards, and it's great to see the activity that they've been doing, and we're looking forward to doing a lot more work into the future. We've also started to introduce new disciplines into the IT team with the creation of 3 new dedicated teams that will work across the organisation to lift our capabilities. The 3 teams will be, firstly, a development team that will join Mirza, who is already in the IT team and been solely working hard to create all the QR apps and various updates, which I've outlined one of them today. The team will also start focusing on integration across many of our systems to take away many of those manual processes. Next is a dedicated team that will work with Nigel in delivering some great dashboards and driving some real insight from our data, as well as building out a robust data governance framework. As an organisation, we are so rich in data, but we are insight poor. So it'll be great to take the opportunity for us to really start using the great data that we do have. And lastly, a key component on delivering good technology outcomes is really getting to understand the detail and understanding what you need and creating that and making sure that we deliver on that. As such, we have a new requirements and delivery team that will map out all of our business requirements and then make sure that new technology is being embedded into your everyday activities. Many of these new roles will start being posted internally in the coming weeks. So if you believe that you're suited to one of these roles, I'll be very happy to have a discussion with you. Lastly, I would just like to touch on the technology roadmap, which is currently being put together as part of the overall IT strategy. We will be tackling many items and we'll be looking at both short-term and long-term needs. To run through a few things that are currently on the radar, you would have seen some work starting around our people management systems, in particular RITEC. We've started with a concerted effort to understand if and when this is not working for you and start addressing some of these issues. The first part of this is to ensure that everyone is trained in how to use the system, being able to clock on, clock off, and schedule as required if you're a manager. We're currently running some training sessions, so please keep looking out for these emails and making sure that you do sign up for the training. The training is being updated constantly, so even if you've attended training previously, please take another look and attend the new training. Our people systems are going to be a real focus for our review, and we're looking to bring in some automation, and this will impact ADP, our payroll system. We'll also be looking at INX and also introducing a new HR system. We've also just completed setting up a new learning management system, and you'll start to hear more about this from our learning and development team as they start building out new learning modules and sending them out to everyone for the particular training. Other initiatives which include a review of our telephony system. We've recently introduced a new IVR that allows customers to use a menu to self-serve when they call our office or centres. This has been very popular with our customers, and we'll look to continue to advance this to allow our customers to use the contact medium of choice. And we'll be looking to integrate web chat, email, SMS, and phone into this process. There are many more initiatives underway, and we'll be speaking with many of you as we start to begin to understand how technology can help you and make your work experience better, as well as delivering some great results to our customers and community. I'll leave it there for now, and thank you very much for the time. And I'll now hand it back to Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Shane. Oh my gosh, I feel exhausted by all the work that you're doing. You and Brendan, the passion that you both have for your businesses and the innovations that you're putting in place are just fantastic. And I, for one, can't wait to get to Lake Dior. That looks amazing. And somebody has asked that. Brendan, when will we be hosting team retreats for staff camps again?
Well, hopefully in the real near future. So yeah, I think the doors are coming open pretty quickly, and I guess the key part for staff team retreats would be making sure you book early, and because there's going to be a flood of activity when the doors open, because the camps will get busy very quickly.
Yeah, I think people can't wait to get away. And our camps are so beautiful, as you can see. That's just such an incredible photo. And thank you for your passion, Brendan. There was a few questions that I've already answered to individuals, but sort of an overarching question has been, gee whiz, 20 people per venue is quite small in terms of an opening capacity from gym's perspective, and one person per 8 square metres is quite a large area. And yes, that is correct. It is large, and we are seeking further clarification. Ostensibly, it means that you can have, like Casey Race, for example, that can only have 20 people in it. And we surely think that that isn't the case. So we are looking and asking DHHS for clarification around that. But fortunately, we can open King Swim and we can open our outdoor pools. And as you can see, they've been incredibly well received by the communities. Also, I just wanted to give a reminder with regard to the business shutdown that we have over the next couple of days. On Monday, there'll be a business shutdown for all non-essential or critical staff ahead of Tuesday's Melbourne Cup. I hope you all win if you do a flutter. If you've been identified as essential, you will have already been informed by your manager that you'll be required to work on Monday. But for everyone else, if you're required, if you're not required, then you're taking annual leave. Please enjoy a 4-day weekend. I know I'm going to. really well deserved, hopefully time off for you. So if you haven't yet requested your annual leave for Monday, please do so as soon as possible. And there was one other question that I will answer, which is, I'm working full-time from home. Will YMCA provide flexible working arrangements once things are back to normal? So firstly, we aren't planning on going back to the office, except for some teams that it's important to go back until March. And if we do ask you to go back, you'll be given plenty of warning. As always, if we will offer flexible working arrangements for people throughout, once we do go back. So that will be as usual, and you'll need to have a chat with your manager with regard to that. Yeah, so it looks like actually, can we continue to work from home seems to be a really a key one. I do enjoy working from home, but some people don't. So I think as we open up, there's going to be quite limited space for everybody to come. So there is no doubt, even once we open up in March, that we will be in a situation where some people will still continue to be working from home, particularly if you want to. All right, so to end this, I have a couple of COVID dad jokes. All right, did you hear the joke about the germ? Never mind, I don't want to spread it around. So many corona jokes out there. It's nearly a pandemic. I'll tell you a corona joke now, but you'll have to wait 2 weeks to see if you got it. Anyway, I laughed at them. I hope you enjoyed them. Tell your friends. Thanks, Brendan and Shane, for joining me, and I'll see you next week.